The file wasn't locked because someone wanted to hide it. It was locked because humanity was never supposed to read it. The day I decoded just 3% of the forbidden's code, every computer in the laboratory shut itself down. Not one, not some, every single one. The lights stayed on. The air conditioning continued humming above our heads. The quantum reactor beneath the facility never lost power. Yet every monitor, every server, every security terminal, every artificial intelligence system, and every quantum processor went completely black at exactly the same moment. No alarms, no warning, no error messages, just silence. For 5 long seconds, Orion Research Facility became the quietest place on Earth. Then every screen came back to life. Not one after another, all 64 monitors activated together. A black background filled each display. White letters slowly appeared, not typed, not generated, almost written. Every scientist in the room watched the same sentence form, one letter at a time. You were not meant to find US. No one moved, no one spoke. Somewhere behind me, a ceramic coffee mug slipped from someone's hand and shattered across the polished laboratory floor. The sound made everyone jump, not because it was loud, because it was the only sound in the room. My name is Dr. Nathan Carter. For nearly 19 years, I had solved problems other people called impossible. Governments hired me when encrypted military networks failed. Technology companies hired me when artificial intelligence developed languages no programmer could understand. Universities called me whenever ancient mathematical systems refused to surrender their secrets. I had built my career on one simple belief. Every code could be broken. Looking back now, I realize how dangerous that belief truly was. Because some codes are not built to protect information. Some codes are built to protect the people trying to read them. 3 days earlier, I was teaching a graduate seminar on quantum cryptography at Cambridge when my smartwatch vibrated. Unknown sender. 1 sentence. Leave immediately. I ignored it. 30 seconds later, another message arrived. This is not a request. I frowned. My students continued discussing encryption theory while I slipped the device into my pocket. The lecture ended 15 minutes later. Outside the building, a black SUV waited beside the curb. No license plates. The rear passenger door opened before I reached it. A woman stepped out. She looked to be in her early 60s. Gray hair, dark suit, no expression. She handed me a sealed folder. Inside was a photograph. At first glance it appeared meaningless. Just rows of strange geometric symbols carved into a crystal surface. Then I noticed something impossible. The symbols weren't identical to the ones beside them. They were changing. I blinked. The photograph changed again. My heart skipped. Printed photographs don't move. I looked up. What is this? The woman answered calmly. The reason you've been brought here. I haven't agreed to go anywhere. You will. She reached into her jacket and removed a small metal badge. There was no flag, no organization, only one symbol. A circle surrounding 3 interlocking triangles. Beneath it were 2 words, Omega Division. I'd never heard of you. You weren't supposed to. She took the photograph back. It has already changed 3 more times. My pulse quickened. I need an explanation. You'll receive one. When you've signed the agreement. What agreement? The one acknowledging that after today, your previous life no longer exists. 7 hours later, the aircraft landed beneath a mountain, not beside one, inside one. The runway disappeared into solid granite before opening into an underground hangar larger than any airport terminal I had ever seen. Scientists crossed elevated walkways carrying transparent data tablets. Autonomous drones floated silently overhead. The robotic transport vehicles moved crates marked only with black warning symbols. No company logos, no military insignia, no national identity. It was as though every government on Earth had secretly agreed to build one laboratory together. A security officer escorted me through 6 biometric checkpoints: fingerprint, retina, DNA scan, voice recognition, heartbeat verification, neural signature. At the final checkpoint, a steel door almost a meter thick slowly opened. The room beyond looked unlike anything I had ever imagined. It wasn't a laboratory. It was a cathedral built for science. Hundreds of holographic displays floated above circular workstations. Glass walls stretched upward 3 stories. Suspended in the center of the room was a transparent crystal nearly 2 meters tall. It glowed with a soft blue light. Thousands of microscopic symbols drifted beneath its surface like stars moving through deep space. Every scientist in the room was watching it. Nobody spoke, nobody typed, nobody moved. They simply watched, as though they were afraid the crystal might notice them. An elderly man approached. And Professor Elias Volkov. His handshake was firm. His eyes weren't. They looked exhausted. "You've been studying that crystal for 26 years, and," he gave a tired smile, "it has taught us one thing." "What?" "That we understand far less about information than we thought." He turned toward the crystal. "We call it the Forbidden Code. Who created it? We don't know." "Where was it found?" "In orbit." My eyebrows rose. "In orbit around what?" He looked at me. "Earth." The words settled heavily in the room. "It wasn't transmitted from another star." "No, it was already here." He nodded. "It has been circling our planet for longer than human civilization has existed." A chill ran down my spine. "That's impossible." "That's exactly what we said." He touched a holographic control panel. The crystal slowly rotated. Symbols flowed beneath its surface. Then, every symbol stopped. At once, Professor Volkov stared at the crystal. "So did it?" one scientist whispered. "It has never done that before." The room became silent. Very slowly, every symbol inside the crystal turned. Not toward the scientists, toward me. Professor Volkov looked from the crystal to my face. His voice was barely above a whisper. "I don't think it was waiting for us." He swallowed hard. "I think it was waiting for you." No one in the laboratory moved. Every pair of eyes was fixed on the crystal. Thousands of symbols had stopped changing. They now faced only one direction, me. Professor Volkov slowly stepped backward. "I've worked here for 26 years." He whispered. "I'd never seen it react to anyone." A young physicist hurried to the control console. "BB, it's not a malfunction," she said. "The energy output has increased by 27%. Another scientist checked the quantum sensors. The crystal's internal structure is reorganizing." "Into what?" I asked. He looked at the screen, then at me. "I don't know." His voice trembled. "But it's responding to your brain activity." The room fell silent again. I stared at the crystal. "What does that even mean?" Professor Volkov took a deep breath. "It means the Forbidden Code isn't just storing information." He paused. "It's observing the person trying to read it." Before anyone could respond, every holographic display lit up. The symbols inside the crystal began flowing again, but this time they weren't random. They formed perfect geometric patterns. My heartbeat quickened. "I've seen these before." Professor Volkov frowned. "No, you haven't." "I have." "Where?" "I don't know." That answer made no sense. Yet it was true. The patterns felt familiar, not because I had studied them, because somewhere deep inside my memory, I recognized them. Professor Volkov slowly turned toward the chief engineer. "Begin control decoding." The engineer hesitated. "Sir, if this crystal has waited thousands of years, we're not stopping now." The laboratory lights dimmed. Massive quantum processors surrounded the crystal. Blue beams of light intersected its surface. Every scientist watched the progress bar. 0.1%. Nothing happened. 0.5%. The symbols accelerated. 1%. The laboratory AI spoke. Not through the speakers. Through every device in the building. "The observer has begun translation." The room froze. No one had programmed those words. The AI had never spoken without a command. Professor Volkov whispered, "Continue." 2%. The crystal emitted a pulse. Every screen displayed stars. Not random stars, a map. A complete map of the Milky Way. Thousands of systems appeared, one by one. They disappeared. Red, black, gone. Only a handful remained illuminated. A silence settled over the room. "What are we looking at?" An astrophysicist answered quietly. "I think it's a census." "A census of what?" He swallowed. "Civilizations." Someone laughed nervously. "No." He zoomed in. The remaining lights numbered only a few hundred. The dark ones were countless. No one wanted to say what everyone was thinking. Then another message appeared. Intelligence without wisdom ends here. Professor Volkov looked at me. Keep decoding? I shook my head. It just warned us. So did every great discovery, or every great mistake. He didn't answer. The progress bar continued climbing, 3%. The crystal suddenly became transparent. Inside, there was no machinery, no circuits, no data storage, only light, living light. It moved like billions of tiny thoughts. Every scientist stared in disbelief. Then the laboratory doors sealed automatically. Emergency lockdown. No one had activated it. PI announced, external access denied. Professor Volkov tried overriding the system. Nothing happened. The building no longer obeyed us. It obeyed the crystal. Then every screen displayed the same sentence. The test has begun. My hands felt cold. Professor Volkov looked at me. I think we've misunderstood this project from the beginning. I nodded. We thought we were decoding the Forbidden's code. He slowly looked back at the crystal. No, it has been decoding us. The room became completely silent for a long moment. No one moved. Then the crystal changed one final time. The flowing symbols disappeared. In their place appeared a single question. When knowledge has nitrogen monoxide limit, who decides when to stop? No equations followed. No instructions. No hidden message. Only that question? It remained on the crystal for nearly a minute. Then, without warning, the light inside the crystal began fading. One symbol disappeared. Then another. Within seconds, the entire code started erasing itself. Scientists rushed toward the control panels. No, stop it. We're losing everything, but nothing worked. The crystal wasn't failing. It was choosing. One final sentence appeared. Humanity is not yet ready. The light vanished. The crystal became ordinary glass. No energy, no symbols, no code. 26 years of research. Gone. Professor Volkov sat down without speaking. No one cried. No one shouted. We simply understood. The Forbidden's code had never been a weapon. It had never been a message. It had never been a gift. It was a test. A test left by a civilization was enough to know that intelligence alone is dangerous. Knowledge without wisdom destroys itself. As I left the laboratory that evening, I looked back at the now empty crystal chamber. For the first time in my life, I was grateful that I hadn't learned everything. Because some doors are locked, not to keep the truth inside, but to protect those still standing outside.